Welcome to the Tangent Gentlemen, where each week we start with a topic from the previous episode, then we see where the conversation takes us. Along the way, we have questions, ideas, and disagreements that spark tangents. Chris keeps track of those tangents for us, and at the end of the podcast, we'll decide on the topic for next week's discussion. And a little different this week, Chris is going to stay with us. He's still be keeping the tangents, but he's going to be more involved in this discussion on music.
Yes.
All right, Scott. So I'm interested to see where it goes.
All right. So I took your challenge. The first song I think I remember my parents playing was Connie Francis, Who's Sorry Now?
Okay.
Which was released in 1958.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, because I was thinking about this point of perspective. I'm the youngest of five. So a lot of my music influence was my siblings, particularly my oldest brother and older sister, my oldest brother and oldest sister. But my parents wise, Connie Francis, 1958. My dad really liked Big Bang, so Big Band. So that was Glenn Miller, 1941, In the Mood.
Yeah.
And then he also liked kind of the crooner types. So Chances Are by Johnny Mathis. Those are the three oldest songs I could remember deep back in my memory. So I figure that's probably the oldest. I don't know that your folks were listening.
No, I don't think so. But I tell you what, before we get into this, I had a blast with this week. I mean, a blast. And it brought up so many memories, and I've listened to more albums. I've driven into Bismarck once, and so I've been in the car a little bit, and I put the headphones on, and I've probably listened to more albums this week than I've listened to in 10 years, 20 years. I don't know.
Yeah, I like listening to albums. I do it pretty regularly. I mean, just to go down, it's kind of a thing I'll do. I'll come down in the basement. So, because I still have a turntable, I probably still have every album I ever purchased. So I'll set them up and listen to them, and it's pretty fun.
All right. So did you do like a childhood portion beyond that, or?
Yeah. That was just you had mentioned, you sort of challenged last week. What was the first songs you remember?
Yeah.
And so I thought about those. Those are the ones that I came to, and I resisted the temptation of reaching out to my brother and sister, my sister's 9 years older, my brother's 13 years older than me, and asking them to sort of validate my memory. Because it's my memory, right? I mean, I don't know how accurate it really is. But so that was where I first started. And then I focused in on much more personal.
Then you got into your love life with Bruce Springsteen.
You guys are gonna be. He's gonna be in there, but it's not as you'll see. We'll see where we go.
So let me walk you through this. All right. Okay. So and I had a lot of memories that I was able to put together, but I don't think they're exactly in order. But the two biggest things that I can remember, one was listening to music with, in the house with my mom and dad, what they listened to, kind of like you talked about. And it was usually on Sunday nights. They went to, they bowled at Kenbow Bowling Alley and played music, all day Sunday after we got home from church. So I started thinking about what I heard through there, and man, what a mix. They listened to the exciting Wilson Pickett a lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Who, by the way, is buried in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that the exciting Wilson Pickett was recorded at Muscle Shoals. I read that.
Wow.
But it had like Land of 1,000 Dances, In the Midnight Hour, 6, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. I mean, it's a banger.
Yeah.
And another one that they listened to, which kind of surprises me to this day because it just doesn't seem like either one of them, was the double album Frampton Comes Alive.
Yeah. You told me that before.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. That does not seem like either one of them.
And I wanted to call them and see if they really listened to it a lot or if that was just something that stuck in my mind, because I remember having a conversation about the talk box. I thought that was so cool. Do you feel
Yeah. So my sister, Bev, who was closest in age, who passed away a few years ago, she loved Peter Frampton. And so she played the hell out of that album. Yeah, she loved that album, and we used to listen to it all the. Do you
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good one. Yep.
It's a good one. It's a banger.
Get this. I
Okay.
remember this old guy playing this funny looking guitar. And I was looking at the album cover and listening to this music, and I was like, this is another one. Like, where did mom and dad get this? Ravi Shankar.
Oh, and the sitar.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Then I found out later in life that I think that's Nora Jones's father.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So
yes.
that was a three that came up. Well, actually, there was a fourth one. So our babysitter used to come in, and this will come in later because this album goes full circle for me. She used to bring over with her the Fleetwood Mac Rumors album.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And, I remember thinking that those songs were great. And I particularly remember Gold Dust Woman.
Yeah.
And then it had the black and white picture of Mick Fleetwood and Stevie Nicks on the front.
Yes.
Photograph. So those were the ones I remember. But then I got my first records that were mine, 45s, had a little record player.
Yeah.
I got Miss You by the Rolling Stones.
Okay. Yeah.
And one of the things that I remembered was I hated the other side, the B side of that. So I went back and I looked up what was on the B side of Miss You, because I never listened to it. And it is the craziest country song you've ever heard.
I know it. Far Away Eyes.
Far Away Eyes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that a joke or what?
Yeah. No, that's. I mean, okay.
He's singing. Listen to this.
Okay.
He's singing. It's got slide guitar and everything, song. And he's singing with a country British twang.
Yes. I was so pleased to be informed of this that I ran 20 red lights and he's on.
Oh, Lord.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
You would know that song.
Oh, I love that song. So, okay, go ahead. All right,
the other record I got that same year for Christmas was Foreigner, Hot Blooded.
Okay.
And it had a terrible B-side. It was an instrumental. And who likes instrumentals at 10 or 11 years old?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
All right, I got one more thing, and then I'll turn it over to your childhood. The other side of this was I would go to my Nana and Papa, my dad's mom and dad. We called them Nana and Papa, and my Uncle Gary was the youngest brother of my dad, and I think he just got back from the Air Force, or I don't know, he was still at home, but it was in the 70s, and he listened to a totally different kind of music than I heard around our house. Jim Croce, Gordon Lightfoot,
nice,
all kinds of that kind of stuff. So I kind of got that from him.
So so I'll start back. Like I said, I'm the youngest of five, so I was greatly influenced by my brother and my sister. And my sister kind of listened to that. Like the first song I remember, I remember it, and I remember it being older, but I guess I was 10. Let me see, I wrote this down here. Where is it? Gosh, I know I wrote it down here. 1975 it came out. The song, it's a Janice Ian song at 17. I mean, it's a girly, angsty, I learned the truth at 17 that love was meant for beauty queens and blah, blah, blah. It's a very girly song, So that's my memory of her. But my brother Tony and my brother Kevin, till Tony was 13 years older than me and Kevin was 5 years older than me, they loved the Beatles. I mean, the Beatles all the time. So I cannot remember in my life, not knowing the Beatles.
Did you like the Beatles at that time?
I liked the Beatles. I thought they were interesting. I liked them when I liked the poppy, I Want to Hold Your Hand Beatles. I really probably the first album that convinced me of like what an album can and should be was Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah.
And I mean, that sounds really pretentious to say. Like,
concept album.
You were 4 and you got Sgt. Pepper's. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that somewhere along the way, 5, 6, 7, or 8, I was really liking Sgt. Pepper. I think visually I liked it because the cover had all those pictures of all those different people on it. And I was like, oh, that looks like Marlon Brando, or that looks like, who's that? Oh, that's Marilyn Monroe. And so I was learning about pop culture by, by looking at the album, which is kind of ironic when you think about me and my life of trivia, how that sort of started at such a young age by like immersing myself in this album cover. But just the songs, I mean, just the, because like When I'm 64 is just a silly, funny song. Then you got, A Day in the Life, which is this whole story song about, this guy saw a car wreck and blah, blah, got out of bed, this stuff. So that really was something I was in, like, it really just amazed me. And then I liked like Yellow Submarine. I thought that was a funny, as a kid, I thought that was a funny thing.
Yeah. So the Beatles, that's somebody, that's a group that I really didn't get until I got older, like into adulthood. I never listened to the Beatles at a young age, but as I got older, I really appreciated and still listen to the Beatles. Yeah.
Well, so but once I got like into my teens and started like figuring out what music I liked and felt better or more connected to me, it was the Stones for me.
Okay. Yeah.
I was much more of a Stones fan.
No wonder you know Faraway Eyes.
Well, I'm going to get to that here in a second. It's just much more. I just liked it. It had a more visceral, kind of that raunchy rock and roll. That just seemed to me the bluesy side of it. I liked more. I would never say that in my house. I would get my ass kicked. I mean, they would beat the tar out of me if I ever said the Stones were better than the Beatles. I mean, it just was not. And it's funny because just now, as I've gotten older and I've said that to my brothers, they're like, yeah, it's a good thing you didn't say that.
Well, did the Disney Channel documentary that just showed, the anthology, so many hours of Beatles creating this music that became, known by the world, that definitely helped shape my opinion on, as far as solidify my opinion on whether you like them or not. You have to say they were huge in the history of rock and roll and in music in general. But Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album, I knew that one. I know every song on there. Probably that more than any other Beatles song. And that's mostly because of Dad. He bought the CD when I was, whenever it came out, it was remastered on the CD. And it just struck me. I don't understand those songs and LSD and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and what all that stuff means. But man, I listened to it over and over and over again. And so I've always been a Beatles guy, but I've always, I've never been one that has to pick. This doesn't feel like a, pick one or the other thing for me. I like the Stones.
That's what makes it interesting.
I'm amazed that so many of them are still alive. Honestly.
Oh, I am too. Yeah.
Especially one of them.
Yeah, especially.
No doubt. It should be studied by science.
So my personal journey, the first single I ever bought was, which strangely enough, I bought an album before I bought a single, but the first single I ever bought, you remember the song, The Logical Song by 10cc? What would you say?
Was that She's a Beauty? Was that the same group?
No,
it was the Tubes, so. I think. Yeah,
that was the Tubes. Yeah. No, I was like, what would I say if I called you a radical, liberal, interceptable?
Cool song.
Yeah. That was the first single I ever bought. I can tell you, I bought it at the Kresge's in Mid-City Mall.
I hear you. Oh Lord!
All singles. So that's the first single I ever bought. And the first album I ever bought was Billy Joel's 52nd Street in 1978. Because it had the song about the Catholics. That song, Only the Good Die Young?
Yeah.
Come out, Virginia, don't let me wait, you Catholic girl. I just thought, well, they wrote a song about Catholics. I gotta
get it.
I gotta get that.
Yeah.
And that was radio play, so that's what I was hearing a lot of. And a lot of what I listened to, I didn't buy, but my parents listened to WKLO AM radio and Waukee radio in Louisville, WAKY. And they played a lot of they played Jerry Lee, they played classic Chuck Berry, they played sort of kind of old school country, Hank Williams, that kind of stuff. And I think that's where I mentioned the Connie Francis song. I mean, they played a lot of music that I think my mom had a little bit more country leanings, whereas my dad had a little bit more, kind of like I said, the big band, more musicianship, if you will. Whereas my mom was more into like the lyrics of stuff. which I think that's really interesting because I think for me personally, that's my thing. I mean, I am, you write good lyrics, I'm there. The music, I don't know enough to know if it's good music or not. That's why it's been really fascinating for me, as you know, I'm a bit of a Springsteen fan. As Evan has gotten listened to Springsteen, he is just amazed at his musicianship, both in terms of performance and structure. And he points out things to me. He's like, "Oh, Dad, see, he did this here, or he changed his chord, or he did this structure change here." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. It just sounds good to me. I don't know. I got nothing."
Yeah.
All right. So that's that. Now, let me, well, I don't want to do this. So that's where that was me up to a point. That was me. Okay. First things I bought, first memories. I'll go ahead and say this. One of your tasks was pick our first album. Well, okay, I got to tell you this other memory, just because this is a music memory.
All right.
So my Springsteen fandom started this way. So I had a good friend, Charlie, who he liked Bruce Springsteen. I didn't really, I was aware of him, but I didn't really know. I mean, I'd heard Born to Run, so that came out in 75, so I was 10. So I'd heard it on the radio, probably somewhere in that 75, 76, 77 range. Just because I was listening to radio, but I didn't know who it was. And in 1978, we had a youth group, from my school, my church, and the youth group leader he was a teacher, and he was a younger guy, and he was just that kind of guy that's like, "Hey, teenagers, come over to my house and we'll eat pizza and, listen to music or whatever. Nothing inappropriate, just hang out, So
I'm happy for that.
Gotta put that caveat in there for the Catholics. So he's like, "Hey, I want you to listen to this band. I want you to listen to this album. I got this album. I think you really, it's really interesting. I really like this album." And he played this song off this album. And I just remember hearing it thinking, I've never heard a song like that. I've never heard a rock and roll song that has like piano and guitar and tells this amazing story that you're just like pulled in. And it was the Bruce Springsteen song "Racing in the Streets," which I don't know if you know that song, but that was on the album "Darkness on the Edge of Town," which came out in 78. So it was around that time, late 78, early 79, which was my 8th grade year in high school. And that's when I heard that, and I thought, man, this is different. I got to check this out. And that's kind of where I went back to Charlie and said, "Hey, oh yeah, I got that album." And he played the whole album for me. And then I went backwards and got the albums that came before that. And then from that point on, I was in. I mean, if Springsteen, there was a time up until 81, I had everything that Bruce Springsteen ever legally released on vinyl. Like I wouldn't buy bootlegs, but if he released a single, I'd buy it. If he released an album, I had it. And then he released a single that only came out in, it was only released in England, and I could never find it. And so that kind of stopped my quest of getting everything. So,
and you're like in the top 1% of Bruce Springsteen fans.
No doubt.
I'm not even close.
You don't think so,
Bruce?
Oh, hell no. I go to these. I mean, I didn't see him on this tour, but I would go to these tours and I talk to people and they're like, "Oh, these shows, how many you been to?" And I'd say, "Oh, I don't know, somewhere around 50. Well, this is my 200th. And I'm just like, that's just crazy.
You had a life. Bruce, if you're listening,
I'm also young. I was younger than
join the podcast. This is your biggest fan. Come on, Bruce.
Yeah. But I will say this. When I was listing my favorite albums, we'll get back to this, but my number one favorite album.
Oh, you're going to throw that out there already. Let's do that at the end. Let's do that at the end.
All right. We'll cycle back. All right.
Was that hard for you, by the way? Was it hard for you to pick a favorite?
It's ridiculously hard. Yeah. I have zero confidence in this list. By the way,
that's how I am. So, I mean, my music, it's all over the place. I mean, I still got things are popping up now. Like, I mentioned that Brampton Comes Alive seemed like a funny choice in our house. It's because Motown was all my parents ever listened to. They listened to Motown music. That's what, and so.
One of the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so when they put on this long-haired white dude in the talk box, it just, it just stuck in my head.
Yeah. my son Brian and I were in Detroit, and we went to the Motown Museum, which is just the houses. I mean, the Motown was just a bunch of houses that they sort of put together to make this studio and these offices out of. It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had, because you're in the room. You are literally in the room where they recorded the Temptations, the Jacksons, Marvin Gaye. I mean, you are in the room. That's the piano. That is the piano that Marvin, and they had a scheduling book at the desk of and it was from 1971, and you're looking at it and it's 2 p.m. slot, Jackson 5, Gary, Indiana. And you're like,
there was a lot of that. Have you all been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of those kind of things, and that's just amazing to see those pieces of paper.
That's the coolest thing. Where you see a song written out on a napkin, from a restaurant.
Kidding me?
Yeah. Well, Chris, you mentioned the Beatles thing. The one, I'm not sure if this is the one you're talking. I think this is the one you're talking about. Where it's for Let It Be, the album Let It Be, and they're coming back together, and it's like, hey, what have you been working on? And Paul sits down and plays the song Let It Be for the first time. The first time anybody has ever heard that. And he's playing this out. And you're just like, oh my gosh. That was it. That was the
That's
first
where it was
time
born. That's the creation.
a human being heard that song.
They have that on tape.
Yeah.
And you don't find that out until 2024. What? Come on.
Yeah. All right. So Racing the Streets. I'll cycle back to these two. I had a friend growing up, and this was siblings. There was 5 kids in this family, and I was close to the age of the older ones. And so we were just friends. We were just good friends in middle school. And they were the first people that turned me on to the Columbia Record House scam.
I was going to bring that up. 1987 for me. Hey.
Yeah, this is early for me.
I was multiple times.
Oh, yeah. And joining everybody's name and number. And so this buddy of mine, Joe, he had these 2 albums. He had the Rolling Stones Hot Rock, which is a greatest hits album. I don't know if you know that album. But it's just double album bangers.
Yeah.
I mean, all the Rolling Stones, great songs.
Yeah.
The other album he had, to your point, was Double Vision, The Foreigner.
Yeah.
Which had Hot Blooded on it. I had that instrumental too. And we played the hell out of that. I think he actually had Rumors, now that I think about it. Now that I think about going over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had these 5 albums, and we would go every day after school. We'd go over there and we'd listen to them. Over and over and over again. Yeah.
Oh, I did the Columbia House thing. And you know what's funny? Do you remember how you did that? You actually took the little piece of paper and you taped a penny to it and mailed it back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I did it. My sister who lived across the street did it. My brother who lived in I did it. Yeah, we joined a lot of members of my house.
I did that in 1987, and you could get, forgot how it worked. But you could get the most albums with cassettes. 3. You could get the most with cassettes, 12 or 13 cassettes.
Yeah.
That's what I did. And I had this huge cassette box in my car. It had 5 rows in it of 12 each, probably 60 cassettes. Did you have one?
I didn't do cassettes. I bought albums. I was all about the vinyl.
So that was 1987. Yeah. So I'll get into that list, but I do want to mention too, because when I went to high school, I got my music world opened up a little bit more, because one of the girls I rode to school with a lot as a sophomore played Prince 1999 every day going to school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, cool. This is cool. Yeah. None of my friends were listening to Prince. I mean, that's where I listened to it. It was cool. And then the other one that I got introduced to, and man, set me on a funk journey. I still love funk. Was George Clinton, Atomic Dog?
Oh, the P-Funk. Oh yeah.
And when I was a freshman, and I still got a memory of that, man. It's like the kid that was on my wrestling team, Dominic. He had one of those big boom boxes like you had in 1982, and up on the second floor of Fairdale High School, Chris, right outside the library. He's put that boombox down and played Atomic Dog on a class break, and he was doing the Omega Psi stepping and strolling stuff. I guess he had seen a video of it or something, and he was doing that. Everybody in the whole school was late to the next class. It was a great memory.
And the batteries were dead by the end of the song. So mechanical.
Yeah. It took like 12 D cells. Yeah.
Yeah, all the teachers were coming out. Y'all go to class. Y'all go to class. No, none of the kids would let them in. We were all watching him dance. But in 1987, man, I joined Columbia House. And I got...
You're still a member today.
I
still got three CDs to buy.
I got Guns N' Roses. Man, I was just thinking about the mix I had in there. I had Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. I got The Adventures of Slick Rick.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Bedtime Story or whatever?
Bedtime Story is a classic.
And then I got Lenny Kravitz, Let Love Rule. I had Skid Row.
Oh, absolutely.
I had Red Hot Chili Peppers, Mother's Milk. I had Dr. Feelgood. I had De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising. So it got me.
That is quite
you've always been a De La Soul guy, man.
Well, when I worked at Kroger Warehouse, this was when I worked at Kroger Warehouse, they called me B-Side Brad. That was my nickname. But the guy named David Jaglow called me that. But we got but the other thing I want to see if you did, once I joined Columbia House, was it BMI or BMG? BMG. They kept on wanting, hey, come to us, come to us, come to us. So as soon as I finished that 6 months, was it 6 months or a year?
I thought it was who you bought. You had to buy 3
You had to buy
CDs.
so many.
Oh,
you had like 6 months, or you had a time period you had to buy so many.
They made so much money on me because, they'd send and if I remember right, you got the card.
Yeah, you send it automatically.
Yeah, they send it automatically. Yeah, unless you sent the card back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But they also sent these little deals. Crazy little deals, like you buy this one, we'll give you these 2 for 50%. So I bought so many daggone cassettes. But then I joined BMG and did the same thing again in like 89.
Yeah, I was much earlier. That's when I was similar in that there was all this music I had read about because I had my friend Charlie. He subscribed to Rolling Stone, so I would get his old Rolling Stones and read through them. And I'd be like, oh, this got Prince. This is interesting. So like when Dirty Mind came out, which that was just crazy for me. Like the music and the language. I play that, like make sure my parents were gone. Like, nobody's listening to, they're not, stuff on that album. I'm not playing this around my parents. Because I remember my brother Kevin played Ted Nugent, Cat Scratch Fever.
Oh, yeah.
On the family turntable. One time, my dad came in. He said, "We're not listening to that again."
What do you have in the palm of his hand?
Man,
yeah.
I was like contemplating whether I was even going to tell you guys the first song I remember as a kid. But if we're going to be honest, I'll tell you because my mom used to play Anne Murray's Greatest Hits, and I know every song on there. So I know all the Anne Murray songs. I would say, now what happened, one thing that changed my life, music-wise, and you can Google this, but my dad bought a Sansui 9000 dB receiver. It's a legendary receiver. If you Google it now, it's going to pop up. It's still worth a lot of money. I have it upstairs. It still sounds good. And he bought about some 4-foot-high Marantz speakers.
Oh,
nice. A brand new high-level turntable. And then as soon as we could get a CD player, I remember he bought a CD player.
That's the one that had the glass tweeters, isn't it?
Yes, it was. That's the JBLs. The Marantz I don't think they quite were to the level of those JBL glass speakers, but they would vibrate the windows in the house. So music became a thing. Of course, at that point, I was about 10 and I wasn't allowed to touch it. But like all the music Dad was playing from like James Taylor. I remember a lot of James Taylor and all that. But what changed my life musically, and I was at this age, a little bit younger than you guys, but when MTV came out in like 1981 or 82, it was such a new concept and all that. I got exposed to all MTV music and it had a huge impact. And I found when I look back at my 90s, I became kind of poppy, like Michael Jackson, Madonna, all the people that you would typically see on MTV.
Hey, I remember the same thing. It was with MTV, but you know what direction it sent me on? MTV rap.
Oh yeah,
that was the direction I went. The early 90s. That's when I first started teaching too. So I was trying to think, did I also do that because kids I had in class, were listening to that? But I don't know if it was or not.
I mean, it was kind of a golden era of rap because probably one of my nominations for myself of most influential or most listened to and loved albums for me was License to Ill. That was my freshman year of high school with the Beastie Boys. And I literally, you know, when you play a cassette so much that all the letters wear off and it's just a blank cassette, looks blurred. And, you know, I did that with the Beastie Boys and listened to it for half of high school. But it was a golden era of rap, like with Slick Rick. You talk about Slick Rick, and he wasn't even one of the main ones, but Kool Moe Dee and LL Cool J, all those little poppy guys. I mean, it was a good time to kind of have an eclectic. I think it might be the reason why my music is kind of eclectic as far as I like all kinds of music, you know, all variations of it. And that's kind of what you got on MTV, because don't forget about Headbangers Ball and all the hair bands. Never understood the hair bands, but the MTV era definitely had an influence on what I was listening to.
So you mentioned hair bands. I went mentally through my cassettes in that box, and the one I listened to, it seemed like most with my friends, was Motley Crue. We listened to Dr. Feelgood, and what was the one before that? Was it Shout at the Devil?
I don't know. That was not my thing.
So
by the mid '80s, when I looked at my list and tried to look at by the early mid '80s, when I was in the CBS or BMG or whatever, I was buying a lot of what would be called alternative rock. I mean, I kind of found. Again, my friend Charlie told me about this band out of Georgia, REM.
Yeah.
And so I got all the REM albums. I mean, the first 3 albums from REM when they came, off of BMG. I got the Prince albums.
Did you get B-52s also? Were you into the whole Athens thing?
I got that because I kind of cycled back in the mid to late 80s more into the pop stuff. So I started filling out my catalog with getting some Madonna, I got Wham albums. I got Michael Jackson. I mean, I had Thriller, but I went back and got Off the Wall, and just kind of filled in that. So it wasn't really the Athens thing. It really became words, like bands that were lyricists. Yeah. That became the thing out when people would say, "Oh, this person's a really good songwriter." I would gravitate to I love this band, Lone Justice. They were around the early mid 80s ish. They did a cover. They sang. Tom Petty wrote a song for them that he never released that I really like. "Ways to Be Wicked." I just thought that was a great song, and so I kind of got into that vein. And I really, I don't know. I became a real snob about hair bands.
So I'm exact opposite of that. I really have to make myself listen to lyrics. I'm a music guy. So, to this day, if Atomic Dog comes on, I can't help but move my head, and I don't care that all he says is, "Why must I be like that? Why must I chase it?" I don't care how many times he says that. It just makes me move. So I got to really make myself listen to lyrics. But
which is funny because, but I think you could make an argument to trace that back. That was the thing. I mean, I've watched a fair amount of documentaries about Berry Gordy and Motown.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that they were amazing at. You could dance and move to Motown songs, but yet you could also look at the lyrics that Smokey Robinson or Berry Gordy or the Holland Brothers were writing, and they were great lyrics. I mean, they were fantastic. Yeah. Tears of a Clown. What a song. What an amazing song. But it sounds really good too,
Yeah.
It's got that going. It is. And that's one of the things, I know I'm such a homer on this. That's one of the things I think that Springsteen does really well. He does that sort of blending of lyrics are there, but there's also components of that soulful sound that come through. So to me, like I said, I got
to back up about my cassette case. I mentioned Motley Crue, but the one I definitely played the most, because Chris is kind of along your line. The only cassette I can ever remember wearing out was Appetite for Destruction. It, the wheels got real loose, and they sometimes wouldn't turn right, and you had to put a pencil in there to get it going until finally it was eaten in my cassette player.
I never bought a cassette. I bet I have 2 purchased cassettes.
Yeah,
I would make cassettes, and see, I never had a car either, so that was never. I never needed I never needed a reason for portable music.
So, I think I stayed with BMG for a long time. I mean, even after Cindy and I got married, I mean, when we moved from our house in Kentucky, I was trying to put a number on it today, and I couldn't, but we had a huge box. There's probably about 2 foot tall and 3 foot wide, a box full of CDs. I'd say 300 to 500.
Yeah.
CDs. And I remember the last CD that I ever bought was Audio Slave.
Do you remember that? I don't know if you guys did this, but you knew a song was coming up, and you had your cassette, your blank cassette in your radio, and you're trying to get the perfect recording of this. Like, that's the problem with this generation today. They don't know the pain we went to record good songs on a tape, but you would sit there and you would hit the record just at the right time, and I'd literally get up and do a fist pump, like, yes.
Damn DJ would talk through the intro
a little bit, screw it up.
I'm older than you guys, but LRS used to play on Friday nights. They used to play a whole album in its entirety at midnight, and you'd hear about it, by about Tuesday. So, do you know what Friday night's album's going to be? And like, I would get we had 8-track tape. That's the only recording mechanism I had was an 8-track tape player. And I can't tell you how many I had Queen Live Killers on 8-track. That's one I know I played. You talk about playing, I played that thing to death. But I would stay up, and as soon as it come on, I'd put it in, and it'd just be recording an 8-track right in the middle of the song. It would just switch to the next track. Well, that's what happens. You got that jump in the middle of the song. But that's how I used to listen to whole albums that way, or get whole albums that way.
It's amazing how, think of what an album was. It was more than just the music you got on the album. You got the album cover, the whole process of waiting there to get it, to go get it when you can, if it's one you really were wanting to get, and to sit and listen to an album. Those days are really, they're still alive for the Scotts of the world, but they're dead with this. Like, that's not even a concept.
It's coming back, though.
It's coming back big time. Brian loves albums. Brian loves albums. I bet he buys 10 albums a month.
Yeah, you can find a lot of places selling albums now. I think people are going back.
It's still a niche, though. It's still a niche. Yeah. I mean,
it is, but it's like anything else. Everything's on the internet, and you can find whatever you want, and that's one of the things they want.
There is a different sound to vinyl, though. It's a different sound. It's smooth. It's like it's very soothing.
It's analog at its best. Yeah. And Frank Wilson, he will say the first 2 or 3 plays on an album are as clean as it gets. Those first 2 or 3 plays, and this is a guy that has phase linear stuff, because that's what Elvis had, and it's top notch when you listen to his things. But he'll put one on and tell you a record player is the cleanest thing you can listen to. And think about what the streams sound like today. Like the streaming, when you're streaming music, I did see this week that there's something called lossless. I think I'm getting that right. That is streaming at such a high bit rate that it's supposed to bring back the cleaner music.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But so I'm checking that out to see how that goes. But music, if you put in a CD even and then listen to it on Spotify, not the same, man. It's not the same.
Yeah. No, CDs are super clean. I would have to disagree with Frank on vinyl being clean. I think it's that dirty analog sound that makes it so smooth. The distortion sounds good to the human ear. I learned that when we were mixing. It's but that brings me back to Rumors, Fleetwood Mac Rumors. So the first time I heard it was when I was young enough to be babysat by somebody who brought it in, and then later it came back around, and Chris's brother Neil and I started Top Hill Recording Podcast and Top Hill Recording Studio, and we started doing some mixing and mastering. And I kept coming back to that Rumors album. That album is recorded and mixed and mastered so well. There's nothing about that album that's not pleasing to the ear. So whenever I was first mixing, I would use that as a reference. Like, I'd listen to what I was doing. I used it as one of the reference albums a lot. So it kind of came full circle. And it's and every song on that album is a banger.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's crazy. You hear it now. I mean, you hear it like it's his first time. You're like, this is amazing. You know.
I listened to
what
it.
about? Let me ask you this question. It just popped in my head. Like, so, back in those days, you had to get signed by a record company and get lucky enough to get out and get put on the radio, and or you at least had to have a studio. Nowadays you've seen so many hits come straight from like social media, where somebody now has like what my brother has in his basement is pretty cool and high tech, and he can record music, or anybody can record music. And you've seen people go from being nobody to producing their own song. And before you know it, it's a viral hit that goes big. So what do you think about that? I mean, is that a good thing?
Well, we've had a lot of conversations about this. It's easier for somebody to put their music out than ever, but it's harder to get anybody to hear it. That's a 1 in a million story you're talking about. And I need to find this number because I heard it one time, and every time I say it, I'm like, that can't be right. So I don't know if I'm way over, but it's either like, I think it's 600,000. It might be 60,000, but it's up there. New songs released a day.
Still, either number. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But see, to me, that's where I don't know. This kind of came up when we were way back when we did the whole AI music conversation. There is a sense of artistry to an album that I just think that's this internet sensation approach doesn't get at.
Well,
you talk about rumors. I talk about Some Girls. I talk about the other albums on my list. Or I mean, hell, I'll pick any Springsteen album. Well, not any, but any of the first 4, 5. Those are albums. Like, they have a continuity and a theme, and ideas that come through that are represented in that album.
Yeah.
That's not just a song
it's a whole different experience.
Or 2 million people or 20 million people like. And that's where, when we talk about, AI can do this and AI can do that, I don't think AI can write an album. I mean, I just don't. I think there is a humanity, there's a human component to producing an album. And I think it's a combination of a person writes some songs, some musicians play some amazingly good instruments, a producer figures out how to engineer this and put it down into a body and sequence it and all those components. All of those things have to happen. And I think we are a long way away from a bunch of, ones and zeros making those decisions.
Do you think music, do you think music even, just take it, for example, like protest songs, that used to be something that you would hear songs that had some kind of message behind it, and used to be regularly. And if looking back over the last 15, 20 years, I listened to Bruce's Streets of Minneapolis this week. And, it takes some guts to write a song like that and put it out there. And it seems like money has driven music more in the last few decades, which means you're trying to pop out hits and not do something that's artistic. We've talked about the Nebraska album for Bruce Springsteen before. He did what he wanted to do. And that's what I believe the movie's on, right? That's just released. So, like, how many artists are there like that these days? I mean, to me, it's just a huge shift. It's not to say, Bruce is still rolling, and some of those other artists are too. But today's day and age, man, it does seem different. I always try to ask myself, am I just getting old? Am I just that old guy now? But at the same time, that might be another effect of social media stuff. It's just, I don't know. Some of the stuff's pretty good. I looked some Tyler Childers. I think has some good statements in his music.
Yeah. No, I agree.
We haven't.
But you talk about songs. Stuff. I mean, that whole album he did, "The Long Violent History."
Yeah, that's money, and
I think there's still quite a few musicians doing those things.
Yeah, but I think to the point that you guys are making, it's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah,
I mean, there are well, according to a guy I know who's pretty smart, 60,000 songs released a day.
Maybe 600,000.
I don't know.
It's yeah.
But and so for every Long Violent History that Tyler Childers releases, or another guy that's on my list, Jason Isbell. Jason Isbell released a song, White Man's World, on an album called Nashville Sound, which is very critical of the music industry as far as the Nashville version of it. But that's a drop in the bucket. I mean, that doesn't touch the 100,000 hits that somebody else, that whoever, Taylor Swift or whoever, and I'm not hating on her. I don't really have an opinion of her. I think she's an amazing business person. She seems to have done very well for herself. But I just think that there are a lot of, I don't know, there's another band I really like, and it's amazing to me that they haven't become amazingly successful, because they're fantastic to see live. They write great songs, and most people have never heard of them. I don't say most people, but they're not. I mean, it's this band Dawes out of Southern California, and they're just, you see them live and they're just amazing.
Yeah. But
I've never seen them. Like I saw, they usually play, when they come to Louisville, they play at Headliners. So that's about 1,200 people, 1,500 people, maybe.
Yeah.
Packed in.
They opened once for at Yum Center for Fountains of Wayne, I think that's who it was they opened for. And people were just, they weren't paying any attention to them. And I was just like, you guys, look, this band's amazing. I can't believe you're not watching this band, But
you see that everywhere. There's so many talented people, like my brother included. But Brad, you remember that night in Providence? We were up there for a conference, and we went to like 4 straight venues that had live music. And I think Brad bought a CD at almost every venue because these bands were impressive.
I always want to support those people. They're so good. But the one band, I think, were they called Psychedelic Breakfast?
That's it. I think it was like,
or was that the name of the album? I don't know.
Man, you have to dig that out. You have to dig that out.
That's one of the CDs he left behind.
I probably got it on my computer somewhere. No, I spent a week putting every one of those on a hard drive.
So I tried at one point, to digitize my entire album collection, and I gave up. I mean, I have close to...
Well, it's easy on CDs. Hey, CDs, you just pop them in your drive, and
I bought a special turntable that you connect to a laptop to digitize them, and it was just so tedious. And I mean, I probably have close to 500 albums. So I mean, it's a...
Oh wow!
I got all the albums right here on Spotify. Right here, I'm looking at them. It's not. Hey, here you go. Tyler Childers has 11 million weekly listeners. A lot of listeners. Taylor Swift has 102 million weekly listeners on Spotify.
Yeah. So I mentioned Jason Isbell.
I got to tell you what Bruce has. I mean, I hope Bruce has got to be up there. Bruce Springsteen has 22 million monthly listeners. I would have lost that bet. I would have said about 40 million, but
40 billion?
Million. Well, that's what Scott would say.
You talk about Springsteen and protest songs. He wrote a song. When did this song come out? Probably 2010-ish, maybe. A song called 41 Shots. And it's about when the New York police killed this African immigrant. This guy was standing in his doorway, and the police approached him, and he reached in his pocket to get his wallet, and they killed him 41 times. And he wrote a song about it. And he took so much flack because it was like, this is an anti-cop song. And I actually got in a huge argument with someone who was a police officer about this. And I said, have you ever listened to the song? Because the third verse of the song is from the perspective of the police officer. Like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Is that a gun? Is that a knife? Is that his wallet? This could be my life. And like, to me, that's what a great song does. It challenges me to think about things from perspectives that I will personally never have, and so I think Springsteen has always been writing like that's what I think he's always been writing these politically provocative songs, or whatever, emotionally provocative, politically provocative, whatever. And that's what bugs me to know when people say, "Oh, I used to like Springsteen, but now he got all liberal and da 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 da." And I'm like, have you not been listening? I mean, when you listen to Born in USA, this is not a guy who's like wrapping himself up in the flag and singing the praises. I mean, he's proud to be an American, but he's also questioning what it means to be born in USA.
And isn't that what you should do anyway with your life, with everything in general? I agree with you. What a great song is. Great songs should be discussion, right? It should lead to discussion like that.
But sometimes, as Brad said, that you want to bop your head in the hallway too, and there's nothing wrong with that either.
I find myself being more with that most of the time. I'm more of a B-Rad. I think it helps separate work from being at home, and that 15-minute drive. It helps put me in a mood, so to speak.
And I hate that I spent a large part of my life, I don't know if I want to say a majority of it, but a large part of my life not being like that.
Not being like what?
That it feels good, that's okay. Like I needed it to feel good and to be intellectually stimulating and challenging.
Yeah. So you wrote it off if it was just feel good?
I didn't write it off, but I just didn't accept it for...
It wasn't what you were into? Yeah.
I just didn't accept it. I was like, oh, that's not... Like you mentioned the B-52s. To me, the B-52s were always kind of silly.
Yeah.
Well, but there's nothing wrong with being silly.
There's nothing sillier than De La Soul, but 3 Feet High and Rising, I used to wear that thing out.
Yeah.
It had little skits in it, and it had,
right.
Me, Myself, and I is still one of my favorite songs this day.
Yeah, right. But see, to me, that's not a silly song. I think that's a really smart song.
Yeah. No, Arrested Development, they were legit.
That's De La Soul.
See, you guys were talking about
De La Soul.
And my exposure to rap early on was Public Enemy. I love Public Enemy.
Yeah. Love Public Enemy.
I love Public Enemy.
I love Public Enemy.
And that idea of like challenging your mindset and questioning authority and why are people doing what they're doing and the structures that are in place, are they good, are they bad, are they helpful or not helpful? No, I just thought that was amazing. I thought that was an amazing use of lyrics. And I remember getting into arguing with people all the time about, it's just stupid bass lines. And I'm like, no, it's not just stupid bass lines.
No.
And there's a lot going on there.
Got a letter from the government the other day. The whole Public Enemy is money. Yeah. They almost needed to have some fun songs. I guess that's what Flavor Flav is all about. I always thought that was going to be my music calling. I just need to find my Flavor Flav role where I could just wear something, be a strange person.
I see Chris in the big grill. See Chris in the big grill.
Yeah, I'm in. That's what I can do. Was he not on the stage just recently with I can't remember. Yeah, he's a great hype man. He's made a living of it.
It's great.
All right, so we're going to have... let me ask you about this. Should we do, instead of calling our favorite album, should we each give the others of us three an album that you've got to commit to listen to this week? All right.
Okay, I'm good with that.
What do you think?
I'm good with that.
Or do you want to do favorite?
I kind of.
Let's run. I've spent too much time deciding which my favorite album is.
Okay, let's do both.
All right, but you got to listen to it. You got to listen
quick. Yeah.
Okay. 3 favorites, and you got to pick one of the other person's favorites to commit to listen to this week.
3 favorites. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to do 3? Okay.
Yeah, I can do 3. Okay. I just identified them pretty quickly off the top of my head because I narrowed it down to 1 and it was hard. And I think I also think it's not going to be expected.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I should probably go ahead and get mine out of the way. You guys are the music guys. Okay. So mine are weird. This is based off of how many times did I listen to this album? I'm not saying it's the most reviewed album ever, but at number 3, Brad might know this guys, but the Galoots, they had a couple of albums.
Bluegrass, I love it.
Bluegrass music. It was Shannon Lawson. It had some nationally known banjo players and mandolin players, and they were amazing. And I followed that's probably next to my brother, who I've seen in concert more than anybody else, because I probably pulled a Bruce Springsteen on them, Scott. I bet I've seen them in concert 30 times, and always at places like the Gerstels or or the Show Wagon and things like that. But they were amazing and talented, and it was a different kind of version of
Is the album called Galoots?
I'm going to have to. Galoots, and you're not going to find it on Spotify. I just looked, but I can get it to you somehow. It's out in my garage right now because I still play it. All right, so runner up. This is one you would never have guessed, but this is Neil and I listened to the heck out of this when he was in high school or right out of high school, and that's the Wallflowers, Bringing Down the Horse.
Oh yeah, that's a great album.
Yeah, and that's one. I know. Yeah, One Headlight, and also, I mean, I just listened to that album all the way through. All the time, and there weren't a whole lot of albums like that. And then this was a tough one, but my number one song or album that I've listened to all through and through, and I just love them because of the mood it puts me in. Some of these songs are silly. Down Home Girl, I just think it's just got a good little funk to it. But Old Crow Medicine Show, Big Iron World, from like 2006, I think 5-6.
Bluegrass guy, man.
That out. My favorite, my probably most listened to is my bro as far as live goes, and his Voodoo Symphony album that they put out with about 6 or 8 songs on it. Good. And there's this band called SOL. I listened to them a lot for a while too. We'll get into that later, but that'd be my honorable mention as far as just listening to them. It's really hard. I actually printed out like the top 20 songs from 3 different genres from the entire 80s and 90s. That would be cool to sit around and just look at this list because it would lead for discussion points. But as far as my top 3, that's my 3.
So you listen to a lot of bluegrass then, sounds like.
I do. Yeah. I do.
Yeah. Okay. You want me to go, Scott, or you want to
go? You can go.
All right. So I'm going to go, kind of did what Chris did, the ones I probably listened to the most. And my first one is super basic because it's probably on everybody's list of greatest albums is Fleetwood Mac Rumors.
Okay.
And then my runner-up favorite, because it's the only cassette I ever wore out, was Appetite for Destruction. But
okay.
The album, and I haven't listened to albums for years. That's what this week, and that it took me back to what you said, Scott. It is a whole different experience. I mean, because I listened to albums all week this week, and it was so much fun. You just kind of like get into the artist, and you got by the 3rd or 4th song, you're into them, and you're ready to hear the rest of it. And then what was so surprising, these albums I used to listen to so much 30 years ago. Every time a song ended, I heard the next song starting before it even started. It's like, it's just ingrained in your memory.
Yeah.
So my favorite album and the one that I want you guys to listen to this week is Lenny Kravitz, Let Love Rule.
Okay.
I think I got his next album that he put out in 89, right at 90.
Yeah.
Had American Woman on it and all that stuff.
Let Love Rule is a great album. To me, anyway. I'd be curious to see what you guys think of it. So, Chris, which one are we listening to?
I have all 3 of those on vinyl.
Huh?
Well, I have all 3 of yours on vinyl.
Do you really?
So you know.
Okay. So Let Love Rule.
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
If I can figure out a way to get you guys the Galoots, we'll do that. But otherwise, I don't care if you pick. The Wallflowers might be a good throwback to 25 years ago or so. But any Old Crow, like the Old Crow, OC, MS, their first album's great. The Big Iron. I don't care which one you listen to. Which one y'all want to listen to? You want bluegrass? Old Crow's their own thing. I always say I don't like that inbred bluegrass music, but take that for what you want.
So I guess I should say this. One of my least favorite kinds of music is bluegrass music.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh, How can that be?
I don't know.
Well, try. Have you listened to Old Crow?
Yeah.
Have you? Yeah.
So I don't know why. I don't know why I don't like it.
Is it because
how many times have you heard it live?
Probably not a whole lot. It's not something I seek out. I mean, I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't like jam bands. Not that bluegrass is necessarily a jam band, but in general, I don't like. I never understood the Dead.
So what about jazz? Do you like improvised jazz?
I do. Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. I can't explain it. I'm just
I would kind of compare improvised jazz to jam bands and bluegrass a little bit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. I just can't. I'm sorry. I can't explain it, but you know, I don't have to explain it. I'm going to listen to them and I'm going to hopefully learn something, hopefully experience something new. All right. So mine, I mean, you guys, it's hard for me not to list 3 Springsteen albums, but I'm not going to.
I would expect it.
No, don't do that.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
One Springsteen album.
I'm only going to do one if you let me do 4, because I have 3 other albums written down.
Okay. All right.
Let's go.
So I'll give you these 3 and then you decide if you want to. And I kind of did it sort of by time periods. My first up one, as you mentioned, Brad, is Some Girls by the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. That's a great song.
I was driving home early Sunday morning through Bakersfield.
Chris, when we get off,
radio station.
Write this down, Chris, because when we get off here tonight, go to Spotify and listen to Faraway Eyes and listen to Mick Jagger's try to sing like a country hick.
It is so good. That song is so good.
It is.
I love that song.
All right.
I knew by the time I got there, I'd be kind of late, and she done run off with the nearest truck driver she could find. There she was.
You don't have enough British in your accent, man. You get too much country twang.
All right, so that one. Okay, the next one. This was the album when I moved to this house and I set up my stereo. I thought long and hard about what's the first album I'm going to play.
Did you really?
That's
so Scott Snyder.
That's what I was about to say.
It is so me. And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to listen to it in its entirety. And it is Fables of the Reconstruction by REM. Okay. 1985. Yeah.
Okay. I graduated high school.
I was in college, but there we go. So, and then getting more contemporary, Southeastern by Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit, 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of my favorite versions.
I haven't listened to the album all the way through. What's the name of it?
Southeastern.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
He's smooth. He's legit.
Yeah. And then if I had to pick a Springsteen album to say was my favorite, would be Darkness on the Edge of Town, 1978.
All right.
I never remember that being a password.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Darkness 78. Yes, it was. You are correct. It was. Yes. So if I had to say, but that's like saying what's my favorite movie.
Right.
Like it depends on what day you ask me.
All right, Scott. So I just thought about this right before we got on today, and we're over an hour, so we'll cut this off. But do you have any artist that you like a guilty pleasure, like you're almost embarrassed to admit you like?
It's funny. You said something earlier about the people in high school, and nobody was listening to that. Yeah. I have a band like that. You know this band, the Psychedelic Furs?
Yeah.
I don't.
They were in the 80s. They had their big hit was Pretty Pink.
Yeah, I remember them.
Lips Like Sugar. Those were their 2 big hits.
Okay.
Very much a new wave British MTV band.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say they're on MTV.
They were the band that I would like never tell my friends I liked. But I really liked the song Pretty in Pink. I thought it was a great song. What about you? What's your guilty pleasure?
So you're going to laugh at this, and it's more modern.
Okay.
And not as early stuff, not the real produced poppy stuff, which it is now, I guess, too, as much. But I like Justin Bieber.
Oh, yeah.
He's good, man. He's got some great songs.
Good. You're right.
Okay.
I would
say so. You say so.
Today.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm coming out.
The dude is talented.
He is
the first time I don't know if it was the first time. It was the first time I knowingly saw Justin Bieber. It was on Saturday Night Live, and I thought it was a skit. I really thought it was a skit. was like, no one really acts and sings like this. This has to be, and dresses like this. This has to be a skit. And I remember saying something there.
That was probably some early Bieber.
Yeah. She's like, no, that's really a guy. So.
All right, man. Well, this episode was fun. We didn't even get into my rap years in the '90s. I had some pretty good stuff. You know, I listened to a lot.
We also. So I want to get, well, whatever. I have this thing about bands that not that I discovered, but bands that no one told me about, and I found out and started listening to them, and became like huge fans of. Like that, and to me, the one that's like that I think of the most in that category for me is the Police.
Yeah.
I love the Police, but like nobody I knew listened to the Police.
Yeah.
And I probably read something or saw. I think I read that Sting was an English teacher. Like when I was in high school and I was really into reading and English, literature. And I was like, there's a guy in a rock band that was an English teacher. Oh, that's kind of cool. Who is this band? And then I listened to them and they were kind of reggae ska. And they had that kind of funk, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I like this. And then it became, lyrically very interesting. And, so.
He's one of those few people too. He's one of the few people too that he has a distinctive voice that when you hear him sing, you're like, yep, there he is.
Yeah.
I think one thing I was thinking of this week, we didn't talk about, but in this line, music is very nostalgic and it puts me in a time and a place. So I find myself liking songs and artists that I didn't like at the time. But when I hear it and it puts me in a time, maybe at the lake or in the car here or sitting at the table with mom and dad, whatever it may be, nostalgia has opened up my music what I listen to as far as just because of nostalgia, just because I remember the time.
Oh yeah,
so to speak.
Yeah, I mean that's how. I mean, that's how Appetite for Destruction is for me. Still to this day, when Welcome to the Jungle comes on, it gets me going. and that album doesn't stop until the end. It just goes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Good. All right. So what are we grading? We got to grade something.
Hey, and I got to say one more thing about Guns N' Roses that I don't think they get enough credit for. I think Axl Rose and Slash were like one of the best vocal guitar duos ever. I mean, they're like a duet. I mean, I would put them on the same level, a little bit newer, as Robert Plant and Jimmy Page.
Yeah, I would agree. I was thinking not today. I was thinking Jagger and Richards. Not in any way songwriting.
Yeah,
but that
just that rapport, play back and forth. Yeah.
I mean, when Mick's singing some of those Stone songs and Keith's playing that raunchy guitar.
Yeah,
I mean that's for real.
I don't know how Keith plays nowadays. He's got fingers that look like amazing. This, and he still plays.
Study that man. Study him.
I don't even begin to know. Yeah.
Well, I'll grade first because here's where I'm at on this grading music. I'm almost like at an incomplete because I know as hard as I tried to go through my music history and what I listened to, I didn't even scratch the surface to like the impact that the songs that I've grown up with through all my years. It's almost like at some point there should be another episode so we have the same homework assignment, maybe with a little directive.
Okay, Chris, I'm going to go along your same line. All right, you do an eye, I'm doing a smiley face.
Great. Okay, I got nothing on that one. I can't top those two.
Check plus.
3 stars. Yeah, 5 stars, whatever the number is. Yeah. It's I don't know. I mean, isn't it? I sent you guys that article about the Springsteen Music Library thing that's gotten formed.
Yeah.
I mean, when you just think about how important music is to so many people for so many reasons and in so many ways, I don't know. I feel fortunate that we have music in our life, and it bugs me a whole lot when I look at schools and, this whole emphasis on, math, science, STEM, everything's got to be STEM. There's a lot to be said for the passion and the creativity and like you said, Chris, the nuance and the subtleties and that you get from music. You know?
Yeah.
It literally takes you back in time like a time capsule. So many times. And
it takes you back and it takes you forward. That's the amazing thing to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, fellas, I hate to stop great conversation, but we are well over an hour. We probably need to get to our tangents.
Okay, so let me just say this.
Here we go, Chris. Good luck on this one.
For one, I really, if you notice in the first part of the podcast, I didn't say a whole lot because I was waiting for some tangents. And this was even more so than bourbon, a very focused group today. So I just started talking more, figured I would figure it out. So I wrote down some tangents or some things that we talked about. So I thought we can pull one out of that. That'd be great. If not, I think we've left enough good tangents behind if we wanted to go back to some of the runner-ups and do that from the past. But just without even elaborating, here's what we talked about: road trips, origin stories, nicknames, scams, the unexplained again, and music part 2, possibly, not necessarily next week, but music part 2 can definitely happen. So you draw anything from those? If not, I'll start running through some of our runner-ups from the past.
I want to add one from the past that comes up a lot, and we know it's important to at least one of us: sports gambling.
I think that would be a great subject, actually. I wouldn't understand it. I don't understand it. Like,
you don't understand. Okay.
I mean,
I was really excited about road trips when you said road trips.
Okay.
I love road trips.
Okay. Road trips.
I love road trips. I love everything about road trips. I love planning them. I love being on them. I like the mystery, the challenge, the craziness that happens on them. I love the memories of them.
Do you like to drive?
Love road trips. I like to drive.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think that could be definitely a good pod right there. And there's got to be some good stories that can come to mind over the next week. I know, Scott, you guys have been on some great road trips over the years. Well,
I'm sure you guys have your sports trips have some amazing stories.
We do.
I don't know if you can tell them all, but or any of them. But
yeah, and I remember my parents yelling at each other 2 times. One of them was just random. The other one was on a road trip, and Mom lost it because we almost crashed because we had bald tires. So I shouldn't tell the story until next week. But
all right.
Can I tell one?
But if y'all want to talk about gambling, I'm good with that too.
I got to tell one quick funny story about from the baseball trip. One of the guys on the baseball trip was walking, could not find his way back to the house where he was staying. Couldn't find it. So he finally gave up and called an Uber.
Because and the story is like, this was like GPS was just first year on your phone.
Yeah.
And he was bound and determined to use the GPS to get back to where we were.
So the Uber pulls up. He gives the Uber the address, and the guy's like, are you sure you want me to take you there? And he's like, yeah. So he drove about 75 yards and dropped him off at the front door. He was just about there, man. He missed it. Missed it by 75 yards.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Yeah, nice.
All right, man. This has been great. I had so much fun this week with this one.
All right, what is it? Make the call, Brad. Are you going to do sports gambling or road trips?
I'm good with road trips. I won't have a lot to add to that. I haven't taken a lot of road trips, but I can come up with some.
Well, we can do gambling. I mean, it's the final or the Stanley Cup. It's the NBA playoffs. I mean, lots of sports going on. So
yeah, just gambling, sports gambling. You throw in gambling in general. Brad's always been one of the luckiest dudes with the horses that I know. So I love
to. Gambling.
If you bet on a lot, you're going to win every now and then. All right, just gambling?
Gambling.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Sounds good.
Interesting.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next week.